Chapter 15. The Path to Liberation from Suffering. On the one hand, I feel that I live an interesting life, but on the other hand, I am not attracted to my golden cocoon, grew sometimes living through the killing fields, the deadly risks of the escape to the refugee camps, the constant fear of losing jobs and stressful life in the United States, or starting all over again, living in a war-torn country. Reincarnation does not attract me. So, in my meditation practice, I try to learn and understand about how to find the path to nirvana, the way to liberation from the vicious cycle of reincarnation, of life and death. One of the interpretations of nirvana, which I feel fits with what I am looking for, is that the 5 aggregates in our mind and body, with which the terms born and not born are associated, are completely destroyed and uprooted, never to rise again after death. The 5 aggregates of which a human being is composed are: 1. Matter, the physical body composed of subatomic particles. 2. Consciousness, cognition. 3. Perception, recognition. 4. Sensation. And 5. Reaction, mental conditioning. I perform inner self-examination and reflection while devoting my time to the dana, the moral conduct, sila, the meditation, samadhi, and wisdom of right understanding, panya. Dana is a Pali word which means sharing what we have acquired with others. Dana is also the art of giving and sharing to reduce one's own selfishness. Doing so helps to eradicate the old habit of self-centeredness. The dana that I receive the most moral satisfaction from are unplanned, unexpected services provided to those in need, such as stopping the car during my travel to the provinces to help bring the injured from traffic accidents to the health center nearby, offering a ride to people with small children walking long distances in remote areas. I have opportunities to rescue animals and birds. One time, I happened to see street vendors frying doves. They pull the dove's feathers and fry them alive. I buy dozens of them, still alive, and set them free in the forest. I also buy from vendors animals that we call in Khmer ani, a kind of Tarzan species. People soak them alive in rice wine and use the potion as a traditional medicine for women after giving birth. Understanding my good fortune not to be killed during the Khmer Rouge time, and having avoided death a couple of times, I believe birds and animals feel the same way when I set them free. I financially and emotionally support poor children by giving them an opportunity to continue school. Some are already working, married, and have children. Others are still at university and in high school. During this process, I found that it is still hard helping the poor. Even with financial support, parents still need help and take their children to work in the fields. Children take time off from school to help their family make ends meet. Most of the parents in the countryside often feel that there is no need for the children to go to school. It is a waste of time and money. Farmers always remain farmers. Therefore, I take a holistic approach to providing health care and help them start small business enterprises to generate income for the whole family. Fortunately, generous people come along who, one way or another, contribute money and services, which in turn allows me to continue my humanitarian activities. When we help others, we are satisfied to see their living conditions improving and they gain the confidence to become empowered themselves. Vipassana meditation. Since my childhood, I was obsessed with the Buddha's serene smile and meditative posture. I feel the need to have more time to explore spiritual fields and practice Vipassana meditation. The sense of sorrow and guilt after the death of my mother were deeply ingrained in me. I hoped meditation would help me to overcome this. I learned that Gautama, the Buddha, found Vipassana meditation which led him to enlightenment. Vipassana means seeing things as they really are. It is the process of self-purification by self-observation. It is a method of mental purification, which allows one to eradicate craving and evil. What remains is a pure mindfulness of right understanding, wisdom, and right mindfulness that allows us to face life's tensions and problems in a balanced way. In one of Goenka's discourses, he made an analogy of the purification of the mind to the purification of metal. This analogy reminded me of my childhood experiences, observing the jewelry makers at my father's shop. Before starting to do bracelets, necklaces, or something else that requires pure 24-karat gold, the jewelry makers first purify the gold. They melt bric-à-brac jewelry that is not pure gold. During the melting, different metals that are not gold, such as silver, brass, lead, or copper, are naturally separated from gold. The makers cool down the melting and start to separate the gold from the other metals. They repeat the process until they have pure gold. Since the 1980s, I have been to different meditation practices and places, but the one that I stick with is the one taught by S.N. Goenka. They are worldwide centers with the same strict rules and disciplines. I started with the 10-day course at Dhamma Mahavana in California, USA, Dhamma Latika in Battambang, Cambodia, the 20-day course at Dhamma Thali, Jaipur, India, and the 30-day course at Dhamma Kamala, Prachunburi, Thailand. The Goenka Vipassana meditation was brought to Cambodia in 1992 by a Buddhist, Bhikkhu Sangha Poti, Pu Tong Hao. I am glad that my mother was able to sit in a 10-day course, her first and last, at Wat Svai Pope Pagoda, where he conducted his first meditation in Cambodia. He stayed at the cottage that my mother built and dedicated to the pagoda. The Vipassana course has become more and more popular as people are truly benefiting from it. The practice of Vipassana believes in establishing awareness as the way to purify beings, overcome sorrow, extinguish suffering, walk on the path of truth, and realize nirvana, liberation. During his meditation, Gautama the Buddha realized that the three root causes of all defilements are ignorance, craving, and aversion. The ignorance of not knowing the Four Noble Truths. From his insightful wisdom, he found that there are 1. The fact of suffering, 2. The origin of suffering, craving, 3. The cessation of suffering, and 4. The path leading to the cessation of suffering, which leads to the Noble Eightfold Path. The Noble Eightfold Path is 1. Right viewpoint, realizing the Four Noble Truths. 2. Understanding right values, commitment to mental and ethical growth in moderation. 3. Right speech. One speaks in a non-hurtful, non-exaggerated, truthful way. 4. Right actions. Wholesome action, avoiding action that would do harm to oneself or others. 5. Right livelihood. One's job does not in any way harm oneself or others, directly or indirectly. Weapons maker, drug dealer, etc. 6. Right effort. One makes an effort to improve. 7. Right mindfulness. Mental ability to see things for what they are with clear consciousness. And 8. Right concentration. The state where one reaches enlightenment and where their ego has disappeared. Buddha went further to realize the interdependence of cause and effect cycle, paticca samuppada. The best known application of the concept of paticca samuppada is the scheme of cause, foundation, source or origin, which explains the continuation of the cycle of suffering and rebirth, samsara. The 12 interdependent causal connections between the subsequent characteristics or conditions of cycling existence, each one giving rise to the next, are 1. Ignorance, avijja, is the cause of rising volitional formation. 2. Volitional formation, sankhara, as referring to karma, as the cause of rising consciousness. 3. Consciousness, vijnana, is the cause of rising mind and matter, body. 4. Mind and matter, Namarupa, is the cause of rising the 6 senses, eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, and mind. 5. 6 senses, Salayatana, is the cause of rising 6-fold contact. 6. 6-fold contact, Phassa, is the cause of rising feelings, sensations. 7. Feelings, sensation, Vedana, is the cause of rising craving. 8. Craving, Tanaha, is the cause of rising clinging, grasping, which feeds the continuing cycle of rebirth. 9. Clinging, grasping, Upadana, is the cause of rising becoming, existence. 10. Becoming, existence, Phava, is the cause of rising birth. Another meaning is karma, which produces a new existence, and the existence itself. 11. Birth, Jati, is the cause of rising aging, decay, death. 12. Aging, decay, death, Jara Marana, and also sorrow, lamentation, pain, affliction and despair, Dukkha, Tomanasa, and Upayasa. Sentient beings always suffer throughout the cycle until they liberate themselves from this suffering by attaining nirvana. Then, the absence of the first cause of ignorance leads to the absence of the others. How did consciousness come about? Buddha realized that it was due to a specific condition, namely volitional activities. Mental volitional formations resulting from negative and positive intentions are also equated to karma. It is the sum total of all of the unspent karmic energy which had been generated and accumulated in previous existence, the energy which had not been used up previously. Then, why does one participate in volitional activities? Buddha asked himself, and he saw, with insight and wisdom, that it was due to ignorance, avijja. Beings act without realizing or knowing the consequences of their intentions and actions. In fact, they do not know nor understand the Four Noble Truths. They are also ignorant of the natural law of cause and effect, and ignorant of the consequences of negative karma. Due to craving and clinging, they are also ignorant of the ever-present dangers. It is the ignorance of the fact that there is no permanent entity called I or self that is the root cause. Through Goenka's instructions and my own observations and experiments, I found that what I consider as me and mine are only illusion and delusion, as the whole universe and body is nothing other than wavelength, fluid sensations, and vibrations. Everything generates from the 4 material elements of 1. Earth, solidity, weight. 2. Water, fluidity, cohesion. 3. Air, gaze, motion. 4. Fire, temperature. The cause of my suffering is due to my ignorance of clinging and expectations to the perception of I want or I do not want, mine, my mother, my wealth, my prestige, my son, my house, my belongings, my religion, my citizenship. If I lost or do not want any one of them, I would suffer and be upset and despair. But if it happened to somebody else, I would not care. So, the reason for the suffering is my mental attachment. Therefore, if I acknowledge my mother and myself as part of nature, and everything that happens to and all around me as part of nature, and not me as a separate individual identity, then I am able to accept the ongoing changes and the death of my mother as part of nature too. Furthermore, I too will die, so instead of having a fear of and sorrow about death, I would rather prepare to die with inner peace. The law of nature is as logical as the law of relativity. I will have a banana if I plant a banana tree. If I am angry or happy or feel hate or love, I will accumulate and build in my mind and matter the seeds of suffering and cravings. It is amazing to experience all of these sensations and vibrations throughout my body, and through that understanding, try to observe them mindfully and maintain a perfect equanimity. After sitting several 10-day, Satipatthana, and 20-day courses and daily practice of meditation, I have noticed a gradual improvement in my physical and mental well-being. My sense of guilt and sorrow about my mother death are weakening. Vipassana meditation aims for the highest spiritual goals of total liberation and full enlightenment. Its purpose is never simply to cure physical death. However, as a byproduct of mental purification, many psychosomatic diseases are eradicated. With continued practice, the meditation releases the tensions developed in everyday life, opening the knots tied by the old habit of reacting in an unbalanced way to pleasant and unpleasant situations. The Goenka Vipassana is a quite intensive 10-day course with strict discipline, including no phones, no talking, and no body language among participants. It is called Noble Silence. All foods are vegetarian. Men and women are separated into different dormitories and eateries. We wake up at 4 a.m. and begin meditating at 4:30 a.m. We sit for more than 10 hours daily with short breaks in between. Every night, there is a Goenka's discourse. The 10-day course is structured in 3 interrelated components. 1. Moral conduct, Sila. 2. Concentration of the mind, Samadhi. 3. Purification of the mind, the wisdom of insight, Panya. All students must conscientiously undertake the 5 silas as a sound foundation for the duration of the course. They are 1. To abstain from killing any living creature. 2. To abstain from stealing. 3. To abstain from all sexual activity. 4. To abstain from telling lies. 5. To abstain from all intoxication. For the first 3.5 days, students begin to practice the Anapana meditation by observing the natural breath in and out and any sensation in a small triangle area between the upper lip and the nostrils by maintaining constant awareness and perfect equanimity. This process leads to the concentration of the mind. Then, for 6.5 days, students start practicing the Vipassana by observing different sensations from all over the body, from the top of the head to the tip of the toes. The patterns and characteristics of arising and passing away with mindfulness and equanimity. Everything that arises in the mind flows together with sensations. Therefore, observation of sensations offers a means, the only means, to examine the totality of our being, physical as well as mental. Through Goenka's instruction, we need to focus our attention on the essential fact that no matter if one is observing body sensations, mind, or mental contents, one must understand the fundamental characteristic of arising and passing away. This understanding of impermanence then leads directly to the total detachment from the world of mind and matter, which take us to liberation. This process is the purification of the mind, achieved through the wisdom of insight, Panya. As part of ongoing practice and in addition to going to the Vipassana Meditation Center, I regularly sit for 1 hour twice daily at home or wherever I happen to be to maintain the momentum of the Dhamma practice. The key to success is to keep practicing with diligence, perseverance, and patience. I have to work on myself and find my own liberation. In October 2013, while sitting in the Mahasatipatthana meditation in Dhammalatika Center, the assistant teacher announced the death of S.N. Goenka, the founder, at the age of 89 in Mumbai, India. We all felt sad about the loss of the founder and teacher of the Vipassana meditation, but at the same time felt very fortunate and blessed to have benefited from his valuable teaching, which led me to a Cambodian survivor's Odyssey.